Now, if you're watching this, you're either completely starting out new to a business, or you're somebody who has been in business, but you're still stuck in this broke man's game and you can't figure out how to get out of it. Well, I'm glad you're here, number one, so welcome. Number two, I'd like to start with some scripture that has helped me immensely. It is the mind governed by flesh is death, but the mind governed by the spirit is life and peace. Simply put, anything that you do outside of yourself is vanity. There's nothing that you can do, there's no physical actions that you can do to change your circumstance. Now, this does not mean that you're not going to take action. It simply means that you need this first. You need the mental equivalent of that which you desire. When you have the mental equivalent, you then are going to take what some people call inspired action. And everything from this place of this mental equivalent just comes naturally. Because what is happening? Well, since our mind is the projector of reality, we are projecting what we see as truthful for ourselves. So if we have the mental equivalent and we're not living by the evidence of our senses, we know that the steps we're taking is going to bring us to our desired outcome. Now, this can be very challenging at first because the broke man looks at life and they see all of these obstacles and they look endlessly and they only find issues. They are living by the flesh. They're living by things seen, which is not how things should be. Because when the successful man looks out, or woman looks out into the world, they see these obstacles, but then they see a way through it that doesn't require them to use all of their energy to get around it. They see themselves in a place of success, and through this conviction, through this consensual agreement with reality, those obstacles move right out of their way. And it can be very confusing at first, because if you're completely and utterly encased in this broke man's mentality, the idea of moving mountains, as scripture says, comes across delusional. It comes across impossible. But as you begin to develop this muscle of the mind, this idea of moving mountains becomes a form of play, more or less. So let's shift for a second. Your broke man's frequency is vibrating at a low hertz. So the broke man's frequency, let's draw this arrow frequency together, is very slow. Okay? And when you're vibrating at a slow frequency, instead of being at the top of this vortex up here, where you're open and you can easily access ideas and ways of thinking, you're down here. So you're not able to think, you're not able to create, you're not able to imagine things, you're not able to operate in the world from a place of ease because you're contracted, you're closed off from the world. So the successful man's frequency, the success frequency operates at a high hertz. So success frequency is a lot faster. And instead of being down here, you're now at the top. So your ability to push out energy and to create is so much higher. Your output is higher. Now, what does this actually mean? It's a good question. It means that you are, number one, feeling successful, thinking successfully, and I used to think beliefs were important. Beliefs are lies. There is the word lie in belief after all. So 3 would be faith. And you might not know this, but faith is defined as not yet. See. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for but not yet seen. Now, interestingly enough, hope. What is hope? There's this idea that hope is bad, and I used to think hope is bad, but hope is actually it actually means expectation. Expectation of a desire. So when you say I hope to be a successful man, what you technically are saying is that I expect to be a successful man. But we more or less have been conditioned to think that hope is like a meaningless word that is placing power outside of us in some form of intelligence that is deciding how we are going to experience this life. So from now on, when you use the word hope, understand that you're actually the origins of hope is having the expectations of a desire coming into fruition. So it's a very powerful and strong word, believe it or not. So let's go back. Number 1 is feeling successful. I used to think that it was all about thoughts, and this is partially true, but your thoughts are a byproduct of your emotional conviction. So if you're starting out in business and you're feeling off, you're feeling wonky, you have this broke man's mentality that things are hard and you can't do shit and you're contracted like we went over, it's just, you're not going to get anywhere. So number 1 is you need to change your emotional conviction on what is perceived as truthful. So you need to start feeling as a successful man, and I'm going to explain how you actually do this after I break this down. Feeling successful is the precursor to having successful thoughts and having faith in success itself, which is not having faith in success, it's having faith in yourself to be successful, or the furthest most point would be having faith that I am successful, not that I will be successful. So number 2, thinking successfully, is ask yourself, how does a successful man think? I'm being told today that I'm gonna have to be paid $30K in taxes, which I think is outrageous. It's insane. There's no reason for me. That 30 grand split up 4 people, so $120,000 in taxes from like $860,000 in revenue. That's theft. I hate it. It makes me so mad. But at the same time, it's a kind of a sense of swagger, because that means I'm doing something good. So this is an opportunity to show God that, hey, I have what it takes. If I got to pay $30K in taxes to live an abundant life, so be it. Who cares? Because I know my version of success is not complaining about paying X amount in taxes. That doesn't mean I can't find a problem with taxes itself and I believe it in how insanely corrupt it is. But I'm not going to sit here and worry about paying taxes. And to make things worse, I don't have enough money saved at this exact moment to pay $30K in taxes, because I was not expecting to pay $30K in taxes. But I know the money's going to come somehow, some way, and that's going to be through the business itself. So what's the need to worry? So because I feel successful, I myself am successful, my thoughts about this situation reflects that I'm okay, that I'm going to be able to pay these taxes, everything's going to be fine. And it's actually kind of a compliment that I'm paying 30K taxes. And it's even more of a compliment that I'm going to come up with 30K in the next week or 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know, but in a very short amount of time. It'll be interesting to see if that unfolds, which I believe it will. But it'd be cool to come back to this video and see in 3 weeks time or whatever I need to make this 30K, but I digress. So asking yourself, if you're in a fitness coach and you're trying to actually take action on making content for your fitness business, what is that version of yourself doing? How is this version of yourself thinking in the midst of having this business? I can guarantee you that if that's your situation, that version is not thinking, man, content sucks, content is a waste of time, content is hard, this and that. No, they're thinking about, man, this content that I'm making is going to help somebody become healthier. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. That's inspiring. That motivates me because I am helping somebody become healthier. There's nothing, what's more fulfilling than that? So you need to ask yourself these questions. You need to ask yourself, what is my version, or what is my success version thinking of in this situation, in this circumstance that I'm in? What are they thinking about? How do they think about clients? How do they think about subcontractors? How do they think about contracts? How do they think about deals? What is going through their mind? And if they're feeling successful, then their thoughts are going to be oriented around this feeling of success. And then number 3, which arguably is the most important part, is faith. Having faith in success of yourself. And again, faith is defined as the evidence of things hoped for, but not yet seen. Faith is the evidence to your success. So if you're that fitness guy or gal, or a cook, you're making software, you're a professional athlete, whatever it is, we're always searching for evidence, man. You're always looking for physical things to back up your conviction. But typically it's not there before it happens. And then we get burnt out because why don't we have the evidence? Where's the physical evidence? Why am I not seeing it? I've been doing the stuff that I have been told to do, like visualization, scripting, and all these things. But you're placing yourself from a place of lack by asking yourself those questions, by worrying about things not yet seen. And this is the paradox, because the evidence that you're trying to find is evidence that cannot be seen. Having faith in your success is the evidence that you've been looking for this entire time, which I understand is a little bit of it takes a second to wrap your mind around that. But when you really start to understand this on a deeper level and you think to yourself, man, I have faith that I can do this. And you realize that faith that you are referring to, that you are feeling, is the evidence that you've been looking for the whole time. Your life changes completely, utterly, in every single way possible. Because for the first time ever, you're no longer looking for physical, what is the word I'm trying to think of? Attention. You don't need physical attention to convince you of success, because you are the success itself that you've been looking for this entire time. There's nothing more powerful than that. Truly. I want you to think about that for a second. So if you're giving faith to yourself, and again, having hope for something is having the expectation of a desire coming into fruition, there's no reason to doubt anymore. So this broke man's version of yourself is now being challenged on a moment-to-moment basis. This broke man's version is being challenged, and it's funny because this broke man. Let me do this real quick. Broke man. This is okay. Broke man is projecting his mind out into the screen of space and time that we call reality. It's kind of hard to spell, right? And this is things of failure, loss, rejection, and so forth. But now you're kind of like how would I say it? A curious man. Okay? That's so bad. That's not even better. Now, this curious man is projecting possibility. This is really hard to write on this. Possibility, acceptance. I'm so sorry for this handwriting. Acceptance, curiosity. Because you are now changing your feeling state, and you're changing the way you think. And again, I'm going to get to how you actually do this in a second, but I want to paint the end result so you can have something to look forward to as I explain the how. And then the successful man. So now he's smiling, long ass legs, and he's projecting out onto the screen of space and time. Success, happiness, fulfillment, confidence. Okay? And then, because he's projecting that, I don't even know how to draw this stuff. I need an illustrator, but like, so the happy man is being projected to the world. So then the world is projecting it back. These things right here, okay? The world is now projecting this back to you because you're projecting it out into the world. The first principle of the seven hermetic principles is the universe is entirely mental. So what we perceive as the world is really just a mental projection. So then the question is, how? This is all great and dandy, Christian, but how do I actually change myself to feel successful, to think successfully, and to have faith in success itself? How? I've been doing shit for so long. How? Well, this is how. Your wonderful human imagination. And I'm serious. I am totally serious. Because everything that you have experienced in your life has been a byproduct of the imagination. Everything. There's not a single thing that has not come from the imagination. And that the earth itself, it comes from imagination itself. I personally believe that we are a byproduct of the imagination. The imagination is not a byproduct of us. The imagination is not a byproduct of us. We are the byproduct of the imagination. That's my belief. You don't have to agree with that. That's fine. But there's nothing you could do. And you could argue against this if you want. But the camera that I'm using, this iPad that I'm using, my MacBook, my desktop, this whey protein powder that I'm drinking with espresso in it, my water bottle, this entire house, the road that I'm looking at, the tractor that my landlord's using to plow my driveway, all came from the imagination. Everything came from the imagination. Furthermore, not just the tangible things. I mean, I kind of repeating myself now, but like, really think about it for a second, dude. The tractor was part of an imaginal act first. Someone imagined that tractor being crafted. Someone imagined this camera. So if physical things can can be created, then the only way for someone to actually create the physical piece, part, item, whatever it is, means that they have to imagine themselves being the person to create the item, the product, whatever it is. So, point being, with all that big clusterfuck of a sentence, the imagination can change your very reality. It can change your very identity. So, what you're going to do is you're going to sit down comfortably. Number 2, focus. Focus on an imaginal act. This could be a client handing you a $30,000 check. The client says, you are the best. And number 3, repeat. Actually, hold on. Bring the inner senses to life. So, what is that? Feeling the emotions, sensing the environment around you. So I literally mean like feel yourself grabbing the check. See $30,000 written on the check. So when you have your eyes closed, and you're not trying to use your eyes. Okay, this is your inner eye. You're going to use your inner eye to see that check that you feel being given to you from the client saying you are amazing with $30,000 on it. You're going to see it. Okay. So that also means here you have to use your inner sense of hearing. Hear the client. Number 4, repeat. Becomes natural. Repeat until it becomes natural. So you're gonna sit your ass down until it becomes a natural feeling for you. This is the goal of this is to make you create the mental equivalent of having the successful man's reality. Because if you're in that broke man mindset right now, you can't do that. You can't sit down and feel this naturally because you have the broke man's mindset. But the same way that you got your broke man's mindset is the same way you're going to get this rich man's mindset. And this is how you're going to outsmart your broke man's mentality right now. Because you're going to do the very thing keeping you from success. So you're the broke man's not going to understand how this is going to work. But all of a sudden, you're gonna trick your broke man's mentality by doing the very thing that's keeping you stuck. And it's funny because you would not expect the very thing that's keeping you stuck to be the very thing that frees you. It's really paradoxical in nature. Life is just a big paradox, man. Sometimes I still get confused by it, but I digress. So you need to repeat this until this becomes a natural state. Again, the goal is to create the mental equivalent of that which you desire. So this is the how. So let's go over it again. You're going to sit down comfortably. You're going to focus on an imaginal act, which is a client handing you a $30,000 check. Client says, you are the best. Now you're going to bring your inner senses to life, and you're going to feel the emotions of getting this check. That's power, joy, optimism, confidence in yourself. You're going to sense the environment. So maybe if you're a fitness trainer, you're in the gym, the client wants you to have this $30,000 check because you changed your life. So you can feel the walls around you. You can feel the ground. You feel their presence in front of you. You feel it. Then you see the check being given to you for $30,000. You see it with your inner eye, not your actual eyes. You're going to hear the client with your inner ear, not your outer ears, saying, you are amazing. Thank you so much, whatever it is. And you're going to repeat this over and over and over. The two best times to do this. Are in the morning when you wake up and go to bed. Mostly going to bed is the most important, because when you go to sleep, you drift into the subconscious. You are pure, unconditional awareness. You are not you, so to speak. So it's much easier for you to program your mind to bring forth this desired outcome for yourself. You are in a gooey state of consciousness. I believe it's alpha state. So the brain waves are much more malleable for you to change yourself. Same thing in the morning when you wake up, you're still in that like sleepy dream state. So when you do it, make sure I only do it really in the morning and at night. Obviously, if I have time throughout the day, I'll do this as well. Especially if I'm getting bothered by the physical world and I'm getting caught up in the chaos and whatnot, I'll do it. But the primary times that I do this is in the morning, and majority of the time is at night before I go to bed. These are the two best times to do it. And again, so this is just you do not have to use this example. I'm just creating an idea for you, but you need to make it personal to you. You need to define this imaginal act for yourself. But if our imagination is what created every piece of technology, every house, every land development project, how else can things change if that is the thing that created all those things? Why would it be any different for you? Like, it doesn't make any sense to think that the imagination isn't what is responsible for who you are. If our imagination is what created everything that we use in society today, let alone thousands of years ago. I can't think of anything else that can explain this. And I believe this is the truest sense of changing your life. And this is the truest sense of tricking your broke man's mentality to become a successful man, to have a successful business, to have a profitable business, and to start living the life of your desire. It seems too good to be true, but as you start to develop this and as you practice this, things start to happen that you can't logically comprehend. Opportunities come faster. More money comes quicker. You get these intuitive leads to invest into certain projects. Next thing you know, your $60,000 has turned into $250K. And there's no sense of like trying to force stuff. Never works, dude. It never works. It can work, but typically it doesn't work as well as trusting your inner world, trusting who you see inside of your mind. And how you define life to be is how you will experience life to be. So if you think you need to work hard, then you're going to need to work hard. If you think you need to impress a certain somebody for a certain something, you need to impress that somebody for a certain something. So understand that everything that you believe, everything that you assume to be, will be reflected back to you. So going through your assumptions about life itself is going to be a huge factor in outsmarting the broke man's version of yourself. So I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment below. I'd appreciate any feedback let me know what notes you took down too. I'd be curious to see what has stuck out for you in this video. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.